I think I'm famous. Hey, I got over 1,000 likes on some of my YouTube videos. That's like huge. Everybody is trying to do this whole social media podcast. I honestly come across tons of videos where they have like one view, which some of that's us. It's not just us. I'm proud of us so far.
And I love that you love to celebrate like every little like thing that we do.
Yeah. And YouTube keeps giving me accomplishments. It keeps telling me that I should celebrate.
Systems, they really do work. Like when people get badges for things, like it makes them feel good because it's kind of cheesy, I think, when Facebook does it, but I do still really like it.
Yes. So true.
So today we wanted to talk a little bit about crazy things you can rent. So I first thought about this when we got the in-ground pool at this house when we bought it a couple years ago. And I thought, oh my God, we could totally rent this out to people during the summer. We can just like close off the back portion of the house and let them have like the back living room, the back part of the bathroom, and the pool, right? And so some guy is like, yeah, I want to rent your pool. Would you mind if I'm naked? And Ron was already not on the boat of renting out the pool. He's like, that's a no-go. And I'm like, no, we're fucking doing it. And as soon as that guy said it, I took the pool down and said, we're fine. I don't want to see anyone else's penis if I don't have to.
Right?
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, it was like a scared animal. I didn't know what to say or do. Then Sarah, you found something that you thought was cool.
Yeah. I found about renting a friend. I made a post on our Facebook. You were hardworking. Yeah, it just released at 7. It basically says, did you know you can rent a friend? And that we would be chatting about it.
Even people who have friends need more friends because maybe they're bandwagon friends.
Yeah. So the site is rentafriend.com. So you could go sign up and you can put on there like anything and everything. I did see some of the photos though, and I think some people might be renting more than just friendships in there, but there's always a good cause too. Yeah, some of the photos, because it showed you like when you put it in your search tab and put rent a friend, some of the photos looked like people maybe I wouldn't want to be friends with unless I was looking for a great party night.
I was kind of thinking this would be a great thing. How you got me hooked on that love on the spectrum type of deal. They should use this to find their kids' friends because I mean their kids are like they're adults. Maybe they turn into more than friends. It does sound creepy now. I don't know.
Everybody's got their own uses, you would say. But, you know, at this point, you can set your own rates. So you really do, like, it's almost like you rent yourself out. I could imagine if I was, like, alone, single, and had to go to an event, and there was some cute guy in the rent a friend section, I might rent him and take him with me, especially if you can find somebody and you see what they're like. So maybe you have this big event for your job and you can take somebody. Maybe you rent somebody that knows that area so they could help you shine. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could actually use it. I was thinking we could try it for our girls' trip and maybe we could rent a friend and take them with us.
Rent a friend on an overnight trip. That scares me.
It would be interesting though. I mean,
It's like I have not hung out with like just girlfriends other than your bachelorette party.
yes, that was fun.
Because I feel like it's kind of awkward. Like I feel like if I didn't have Ron with me,
See, I think that's where I'm a little different. So I'd go stay at like Airbnbs. Shoot, I'd go stay at hostels, you know, out of the country and stuff like that. And I think Brian and I are in the opposite spectrum there. Like he will do some Airbnbs, but it's got to be like a full house. It can't be like where you're renting a room, even though the same diff in a hotel, but like bed and breakfast. The name of it, though, just gets me hostile. It sounds like it's hostile, you know? Yeah, but Lindsay always stays at those when she goes places, but I feel like she gets, like, the word of mouth from people that have actually done the trips. But I don't know. It's scary. Speaking of scary, just going out of the country, did you see that family from Michigan that finally got let out of jail from Mexico? That was crazy. So, do you know the whole story? I know, just to make the story short, had signed a timeshare, were paying the money disputed it after they paid it, got it back because the credit card said this is shady. Then sometime later, maybe a few years, they decided to go to Mexico and get arrested right away because it was like $160,000. That's what I heard.
There was a dilemma with a timeshare.
Yeah, I heard there was like these videos she was doing of how to teach people to get out of them. But like Brian said earlier, there's got to be a reason there's an attorney on the TV and the commercials saying they'll get you out of your timeshare specifically. But I think the way she did it, she just didn't expect that. So they came home. Yeah, they had to donate the money to a charity. I don't know which one.
That's nuts. That reminds me of, what was it, in Turks and Caicos? A guy was traveling and there was like a loose bullet in his bag, and he was arrested and had to stay there for like a very long time because you're not allowed to have like firearms or ammo or anything there. So you didn't hear about that? He was there for months.
No. What freaked me out when we were in Detroit, there was like a suitcase in the garbage in one of the dumpsters. All you seen was the handle. I was like, Brian, that's freaky. Was that really a suitcase? He was like, yes. I said, oh my gosh, get away from there. But it wasn't anything. I didn't see any cops. Well, I just was like, do you call the police? But I'm like, we're in Detroit. That's probably normal to have suitcases in the trash. I don't know.
I mean, there are a lot of homeless people when we're there.
I just was reading that they had whatever brothels in different countries, but they got shut down. They were sex robot brothels. Yeah.
That was a thing.
I mean, I would imagine it's treated like the tanning bed at Planet Fitness, where they just spray it clean every.
And you have to host that the person before you clean it.
Right? They don't let you clean them at Planet Fitness. It's like, ooh, that's kind of scary. But he told me that there was somebody found dead. I was like, I talked about that with my friend because you told me somebody was found dead in a tanning bed for like days, and it was days after. And the guy said it happened because they let you clean your own beds, and that door just remained shut. Somebody must have peeked and seen a dead person and said, I'm not dealing with this, and then just stopped using that tanning bed or something for a few days. I don't know.
Being lazy and didn't even look in there. And then when someone did, they saw there was a dead body. Professional cuddlers. Now, I did know about this one. Did you know about professional cuddlers that you can? I don't trust anyone's home, so I'm not going to cuddle anybody in anyone's house. They'd have to come to my house. And I don't think I could touch that many people.
If Kim Kardashian signed up to be a cuddler, what do you think money-wise she would make?
I don't think she would let some rando touch her for $1 million, to be perfectly honest. Because if I had all that kind of money, I would not let anyone touch me. I'd be like, nope, nope, nope.
Unless it was like 100 million, maybe. You would for 100 million. Shoot, I would do it for probably 50K. Cuddle somebody? Shoot, maybe 5K.
If I was Kim Kardashian, I'd be afraid that someone was going to try to murder me or something. I just wouldn't be worth it.
You know, there's people that you can rent to play with their foot. And this lady made $800 a week just letting somebody suck her toes for a little bit here and there. Ew. No, I can't. No. Nope. I don't suck anything except for a popsicle. My mouth it's too small for anything besides that. Sorry.
Is your second toe bigger than your big toe?
No.
No. Yours go in a nice row down.
I think my second and my big toe. I don't know. I'd have to look actually. I think, hold on, let's see. No, it goes down like this. Mine's like they're getting a little rough looking the older I get, though, I'll be honest.
Ron made me paint mine. And my pinky.
My pinky toes are gross. And I have a deformity with my pinky fingernails and my pinky toenails. Yeah, they grow like a ski slope. Like if this was long, it'd be like, and then when you jam it, it goes backwards. It's horrible. So I just keep them short.
There are too many crazy rental things around here. I do know you can rent RVs, but it's kind of expensive. I almost feel like it's not worth it. I know someone who rented one, and I think it was like $3,000 to rent it to like drive it somewhere for 5 days.
You can rent a studio here for either music or podcasting, or I think in like the near downtown somewhere. You can rent office space. That's been a huge thing. It was big in big cities when I used to go visit Lindsay when she was in New York. They had like a common office space and it was like this cool thing. But I also remember there was a scam about it too. I forget what that was, but
Yeah, so I know I used to work for a guy who owns some different properties, and one of them is a commercial property, and he'll rent out, like a suite by the month to people. And I mean, that makes sense. If you have a small business and you don't know like which way it's heading, you just rent a space for a small amount of time. I think that makes sense.
yeah.
But it says you can rent mourners. So in some cultures, you can rent professional mourners to cry and wait at funerals to show deep respect for your loved one that's passed. I don't think I would
That's crazy.
rented sadness. If it's not real, I don't want it.
Do you think there's anybody out there that rented people to have them at the wedding because maybe they were rich but didn't have friends? Anybody in the world? I bet you. Yeah. I mean, I never thought about it. All those times I went to the bar by myself when I didn't have friends, I could have been renting one, right?
You know, another crazy thing I want to look up that I've been wondering a lot about are cat tails, like real cats with tails. You know, when they get mad, they like engorge almost like a penis. You know what I mean? Have you noticed your cat do that? It like puffs up and then their fur goes nuts. How does that happen? My cats have very thin tails and they get mad at each other and all of a sudden they have giant tails. That's weird.
It's like a porcupine with their tail. My cats are bad. Do you know they opened the cupboard and we had to get these really expensive hairball treats for Biscuit? And they were all the way on like a third shelf. And somehow they got in there, knocked the chips all on the ground, hopped up, got the treats, ate a hole in the bag, and had most of them gone. And Brian's like, those are $20 a bag. I was like, they're bad. That was Sammy, probably. Not Biscuit, Sammy. Biscuit opened the door. Sammy's the one that climbed up and got them. That's what happened, I think. Yes.
You can also rent mermaid tails if you're interested. I mean, if you have some kind of like strange.
You can rent coffins if you can't afford to buy one.
And
Yep. Yep. Furniture is a big one for staging your properties. You rent the furniture. Back in the day, I know somebody who would rent all our furniture and our TV and our gaming systems, and then he wouldn't pay his bill. And then the kids would be crying, don't take my PlayStation.
Oh, that's so
Horrible.
weird. I know who that is.
Yeah. Be like, Mom, why are they taking our couch? No. That was the sad one. And I hated it. I was never for the whole renting anything. It is ridiculous. And the interest, it's just stupid. So I was never for it.
If someone needs a cash advance, they're just banking on poor people. It's so sad. They are making bank off of poor people because they can.
I got into that when I was younger. I had no choice, yeah. But once you're in, unless you hit the lottery or a jackpot, you're not getting out of it.
Tax return time for the single mommies. That's the bailout.
Yep. Oh, I used to get like 8 grand when I had 3 kids. You know, that's what they gave you. But I remember I owed my student loans and they took that whole thing. That was a hard one because I knew I owed them, but I was paying and then I had stopped communication. So it was my fault, but it wasn't like I just fell off. I fell off for a period of time. So obviously I got burned. I'm still paying them. Yep. I went to school for 1 year online. Didn't even see the school. Everything, no books, all online. 4 more grand and they're out of my life. Yeah. It's only been since 2010 for 1 year of school.
So it says ballin' for the weekends. You can rent private islands for the weekend. I don't think.
Speaking of that, do you think that eventually they're going to have places where you can rent sex robots? We could make headlines if we get a sex robot Airbnb.
I wonder if we would get in trouble. I feel like this is one of those things right now where it's not a thing, but someone's going to start doing it and then everyone's going to have.
Could you imagine if you went into like this big sex Airbnb. I bet you there is one somewhere. There's got to be, like in Vegas. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not doubting it. I think if the
Until you get sued because somebody gets an STD.
get some fisting and cleaning of that thing.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. There was a hilarious post on Facebook in the cheating group or Nosy Butts of Toledo. And the girl posted a picture of this. It was just a butt with a hole and it was tore up. She said that she was at a Netflix and chill date and her guy had to answer the phone and leave the room. And she snooped around and she found it and she was freaking out because it's first off the butt and people were saying it looks like baby feet. And look how tore up it is. And somebody said, dang, he tore that MFer up.
Yeah.
I didn't do it yet.
They have these little it was like a silicone butt, like what you just showed me. And she's like, okay, here's the lube. And you take the fingers and like you insert and go up because this person had never done that before. And so here he is like doing this whole like finger weird bum.
Don't do any movements. We'll get banned. Remember? He said if you do like movements, you just did a weird one. It creeped me out. All I keep thinking about is that. But I did just show you a butt, so.
I do think it's weird that you can get banned for that. Like 3 strikes you're out. But yet I can watch an entire show on Netflix that shows people.
Yeah, makes no sense.
I think it's a vagina, not a hiney. But yeah, but the guy had never done it before, so she was like showing him, and I thought, oh my God, you know what? If you're like in your 20s and you've never done this before, this is like the perfect way to make yourself feel comfortable around the opposite sex, right? I mean, I thought it was very informative.
I wonder if it feels like the same thing.
It would. It looked like jiggly.
Shoot, for all we know, we're gonna be extinct soon. Females? No.
I mean, I'm fine with not being used and abused.
Do they have male too? I only assume when I think that it's females.
I think they were working on a male robot, but they did not have one yet.
Did you RSVP yet to get?
The last thing I need in my life.
That's funny.
Yeah, male sex robots do exist, though they're less common and less developed than the female counterparts. So they're typically marketed as luxury, high tech adult toys, and they have realistic bodies, customizable faces, and equipment. And they have AI personalities and interchangeable parts for a heated feature. And it does seem like the women's sex robots are more elevated, if you will, like self-lubricating, they can breathe, they can walk. I mean, it's just a matter of time before we can get a male.
I just want one that can give back rubs, cook, clean. There is supposedly robots that do that. And I think they want us to be like robots. Did you know that's what Elon's doing is trying to get so you can upload a USB into your head, into your brain. People are getting them installed already. And one guy died, I think, or almost did. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. What happens if that next thing you know, we get bombarded in our house and they upload some shit into our brains? Well, if they're gonna do that, they better take my list of what I want.
That is so crazy. I mean, it is pretty intense. Have you ever watched, I think it's called Black Mirrors, where they go through all of the different types of like crazy technology that they think is going to be up and coming? It is nuts.
It scares me.
But I really do feel like everything that I've seen.
Yeah, like eventually there's not even going to be pharmacies. And then I was like, oh my gosh, are there going to be robot surgeons and robot doctors one day? I guarantee it.
They already have come up with them. Ron was just telling me, and even this guy came into the dentist office the other day and he goes, I'm going to wait to have a root canal until we get the robots with the lasers that do it and it's not as, painful. It's coming.
It's crazy. We should be doing these conversations live. Do you think people would listen to us? Would you guys listen to us if we did this live? I don't know. Live's scary, but
Conversations with them.
yeah, nobody would do that. Nobody's really been mean except that one guy in it. What? Jinx. Wow.
You can rent a professional line sitter. So, like back in the day when you'd have to sit in lines for Black Friday, you could have hired someone to sit in the line for you. What do people sit in a line for these days? Nothing.
Yeah, no. You know, the Kroger on Jackman and Lasky now they hire rent-a-cops, I think, to check receipts as you walk out, but they never check my receipt. And I don't see them checking anybody's receipts. And they said even if they check your receipt, there's nothing they can do. So, like, what is the point if they can't take your food back? They can't do anything? That's just crazy. Yeah.
Nervous Nelly like that. Like I never want to do anything wrong. So if someone's standing there and they're going to confront me on it, I'd be less.
No. You're an angel.
I know. That's what I hear. So, is there anything else you could think of that you can
You can rent
wait? You can rent clowns for revenge. You can send creepy clowns to stalk your friend.
I know you could send poop. You could send poop to people.
And like animal hearts with like stakes in them. They do that. Like, you know, like meanness for Valentine's Day when someone sucks.
Just imagine what's on the dark web. Christmas trees and decor you can rent instead of do yourself. Actually, I'll start renting. I like decorating trees. Yeah. I did hear that. Maternity bellies, people rent those. They also rent wedding dresses and bridesmaid gowns, handbags and shoes, and emotional support chickens and ducks and cats. We have to go to the cat place. You know, we have one now.
I don't know if I'd want to. I feel like I just feel like cats are actually kind of dirty. And if I'm going to live in cat dirt, it's going to be in my own house.
No. People rent boyfriends and girlfriends. It's popular in Japan to make people jealous.
Yes, when you were saying rent a friend and like if you had somewhere you needed to go, that's the first thing I thought. It was like rent the hot guy, and everyone's gonna be looking.
It does say Japan and Korea, you can fake guests to make your wedding look bigger and more balanced. That's just crazy. That's like living fake to me.
Yeah, most definitely.
So,
Have you seen the napping pods that they have in Japan that people rent to just go take naps in? They're so cute. It's just like a little cubby hole. Like you pop in the cubby hole, you take a little napsy, and then you get out and go. So weird to me.
nice. What else can you rent? Oh, you can rent like tables, chairs, party decor. But that's not weird. You could probably rent other naughty things in Toledo. We're on a top list, though, of living. The worst, though, do you know 2 places made the worst on my chat GPT, so I don't know how accurate. No, they're close to us. One's in Ohio, a city, and one's nearby. Where? It's Cleveland. Cleveland. So basically all those little suburbs or whatever. Detroit was number 2.
It scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. But believe it or not, me and Brian were talking about streetlights because I'm weird and I just happened to say, I wonder who invented the first street signal. And it was actually Cleveland, Ohio, 1879. And it was on some street that I don't have my details anymore. But a guy named Charles Brush invented it.
Oh,
Interesting, huh? I didn't either. I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting.
you know what my husband does to our podcast? It kind of upsets me.
What?
When I tell him things, he Googles everything to see if I'm right. I'm like, well, of course I'm right. I'm always right. Duh. But yeah, he'll be like, oh, I Googled that to see if you were telling the truth. Like when I talked about the guy from Ohio, well, and I think he was from Toledo, the Pringles can. He Googled.
Yeah, he didn't believe you? Forget him.
I'm going to be Googling your street light now, so you better hope you're not.
Right? No, that's true. I know that's try and make sure I cover my facts. I did have something interesting.
Yeah, she did.
Shoot, I didn't know. Is he in the background? I can't see him. You got a fake back. It's not fake. You just love Riverside so much. Oh no. How did that happen? Oh, hi. What's Ron? That's funny. You guys both interrupted us at the same time. You and Ron. It's going good. Do you want to come say hi? We're live. Nobody wants to be on camera now. He won't come in here no more. Did he verify that already?
No, we're not yet, but I'm sure he will. You can feed pigs and hedgehogs. I love that idea. I want a May pig and a hedgehog for a week.
Why only a week? You're going to want to keep them. Then you're going to get a warrant because you're going to not give it back.
Right?
Did you know that somebody married the Eiffel Tower? No, it is. You can marry objects. Someone married the Eiffel Tower, somebody married their robot, and the robots can fall in love with you. That mine's been acting pretty suspicious. No, I'm just kidding. It's a cur. It's not.
Have you been creeping around your house again? Fake paparazzi.
Yeah, like flashing cameras. Like, who are those girls? We'll put on baseball caps, fake hair, glasses, lots of clothes. They won't know who we are. That's funny.
I could see kids doing that for like their birthday parties, like your sweet 16 or something. I don't know. Maybe more like sweet 13, because 16-year-olds probably.
Yeah, and this is just a 5-second thing that I want to go over real quick because I happen to find some weird stuff. Some rules that certain states follow. Alabama, you cannot play dominoes on a Sunday. You cannot have fake mustaches in church. In Alaska, you cannot whisper in someone's ear while you're moose hunting. These are real laws. And you can't honk near sandwich shops after 9. And donkeys, and I did hear this in Arizona, donkeys, it's illegal for them to sleep in bathtubs. Did you know that? But there was one other interesting one. A chicken cannot cross the road in Georgia because it's a law. You're gonna get arrested. Interesting. You know what I just thought about is people that last minute say they're going on a trip and they don't want to not book it. Would you even think, I'll just rent a friend? I'll pay for them to come to Vegas with me. Shoot, I'm about to go apply. That's a good idea.
I get so nervous.
See, I'd be pissed I wouldn't get rented. I wouldn't feel safe. Like I would be fine. I said I'd be mad if I didn't get rented. Like if nobody wanted to rent me. Yeah, you wouldn't?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if I really wanted to be someone's friend and they weren't renting me, then maybe. I don't know. That's strange. No, I just wouldn't do it because I'd be so scared over what kind of weirdo I'm gonna.
Yeah. I would like to run into a weirdo. We should rent somebody to interview them and literally just rent them to like find the top friend person. I mean, maybe you can rent virtually. I mean, you might be able to rent them over the internet. We'll see.
I think they should just let us interview them for free. We don't need to rent them. If they want to be known, they'll put themselves out there.
Gotta find a way to stalk the rent a friend people and see. Maybe my post will get somebody talking. Hmm.
I think it's so weird that there's an entire family that's been missing. And I'm just in Toledo, Ohio, and I'm just now. So my question is like, why do you think we have not heard about this sooner? Do you think it's because the police don't want us to know when something's going on because it'll get us all in a panic? Or do you think we don't hear about it because none of us subscribe to cable television and to get local channels you have to have an antenna? Or why don't we know about these things?
Where did you find it at?
Just came up on like my news feed randomly.
That's crazy. No, I have to look into it, but there's usually always a reason. I mean, look at me. I tried to reach out and say, look, I have all this evidence. I'm not crazy. Go look for Cindy Anderson's body. And they didn't care. From where?
Executive Parkway, like right off of C4.
Do you think they know it's a family situation, like a domestic, and they know more than they're giving?
It just says they're asking the public for help in searching for the family. They were last seen on Executive Parkway on March 28th. Lamina Reynoso, she is 200 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. Muhammad Rahim is black hair and brown eyes. And Abdul Rahim, he's 40 pounds, black hair, brown eyes.
Yeah.
Other people don't know about it. And I know that I cannot get the local news because my antenna isn't strong enough. So I don't get any news unless I subscribe to like notifications from WTOL or Channel 13 or whatever.
Right, and you don't have time for social media, let's be honest. Especially Facebook has been draining.
So I don't know, but I feel like there's got to be a different way. Like Why can't we get local channels without an antenna?
Yeah, we have the YouTube TV, which we do get the local news, but it's still like probably $100 a month.
Yeah, and see, we don't subscribe to any of that. So I stream.
Yeah. Are you sure like one of those free streaming doesn't do it? Like Tubi or Tubi's actually getting popular.
I use
There's a lot of stars doing stuff on it now. I don't know. It might be.
that keeps doing these ads for like this Mint Mobile that's supposed to be inexpensive, and he goes, "Why are we all paying, like Verizon prices?" I mean, I think Ron pays,
What is he on? Verizon?
yeah, to save money, and you're still paying $300 a month. I mean, granted, it's our line, his kids' line, Zelina's line, but still.
Well, we pay 216 just for me and Brian.
Verizon?
Yep, we're leaving them. I like T-Mobile's. Honestly, I had better connection. My service does not even work in my house with Verizon. It does not work barely anywhere I go. I've had nothing but problems. So I think we have like 1 month and we paid off our phones. We're good to go.
I do AT&T. It's okay. It's whatever. I mean, it did cut our phone cost
Yeah,
the same thing too when we left Verizon, went to Sprint, and then AT&T. You have to hop. It's like insurance for your car. You have to hop around, otherwise you're not getting a good deal.
yeah. Yep. I agree. I know I want to switch back to AT&T, and Brian's been faithful to Verizon this whole time, so we'll just do it under him and hopefully get a good deal somehow. Plus, I left them on good standings, so hopefully they want me back. Heck yeah, they should, especially because it's not like, oh, I never paid you years ago. Like, I paid you off, dude. Half these bills I see, people don't like paying their cell phones. You see, they hop, but I think they're hopping because they don't pay. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's happening nowadays with doctors. Your bills are so high, and then if you don't pay them off, they won't see.
Yeah, that's one thing I was just talking to Brian. He's got a lot of bills. And so I'm like, well, make arrangements. If you make arrangements, nothing can happen. They all usually work with you, but what sucks is they say it doesn't affect your credit. But it still does. Like if you want to go get a loan or you just don't want to see a bad credit score because of a stupid medical bill, it's stupid. But it's still, I think it's a fine line. Like I think if you go to get a loan, it doesn't count against you on your credit, but they're still going to see you're in collections. And the doctors, you're going to run, doctors talk. Eventually, shoot, watch them start giving credit reports, or there's a way to see. Which mine will not ever approve me again, which makes me sad because years ago though, I had a cat that was sick and I did not. And I got the care credit and I didn't pay it off like I was supposed to. But then eventually it goes away and you're like, how do you even pay it? This was like 25, 30 years ago, but that is one place that even if my credit's great now and it's been that long, they still declined me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If it's like the same as the animal one, like a care credit thing, yeah, I did that. And I'm sure that now it says no to everybody, even though that's unfair because it's not who I am. Yeah, I ended up going bankrupt back then. I only went bankrupt once. Shoot, now I'm realizing it's like a common thing. I see a lot of bankrupts. Hey, I can say that if I'm not saying about who, right? It happens. I feel like there's going to be a lot more scary coming though. I just feel there's going to be some changes. Yeah, I had a situation today where you know how I do my a la carte services. Well, somebody wanted me to deliver a notice, and I looked into it a little further because she had mentioned that Fair Housing had reached out to them. I feel horrible because what's happening is these people are buying houses. They're getting inspections, but they're not getting the repairs, or these inspections are not showing up the issues. So here they bought the house in February. And then sometime in March, they were notified of an issue, but they were thinking this has nothing to do with us. I have no clue what this is. And it was from Fair Housing. And so then she reached out to me to deliver a non-renewal of lease. And I'm like, well, I'm not delivering anything until you find out really what the situation is. And I know this property. It's been sold like multiple times. And either way, so come to find out, the tenant put their rent in escrow, which they rightfully did. And now this owner's gotta figure it out. And I'm like, I can't help you. Call an attorney. There's nothing I can do to help you at this point legally. Yeah, but I said I would be calling whoever was managing the property right before you bought it, and I would call your agent that sold it to you. But I unfortunately can't help you at this point until you figure that out. So
when we bought the 2 properties over there, I would have never thought about I should check and make sure nothing's going on and nothing's in escrow.
I think that somehow they were alerted that there was issues, and I don't think they addressed it right away, which I didn't know, or maybe they didn't get that initial communication. The escrow just happened days ago, so I was like, well, you're going to get paperwork because that's what happens when somebody puts their money in escrow. Then you'll get like a packet to you that tells you what you need to do, all the specifics. But not only is her money in escrow, but Fair Housing is representing her, which they wouldn't do if there wasn't an issue.
We had a situation once where somebody wanted to put their rent into escrow, but they couldn't. So we had to go down there and meet. And it wasn't for me personally, it was for a company I'd worked for. And you have to like try to figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, then you gotta go to court or something. But the thing is like not always do they allow people to put it in escrow. So it's got to be pretty bad, and you had already gone through a few things for that to happen.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I believe it, but the sad part is it's not really them that did it, but it's them that's going to get in trouble if they don't fix it. So gotta be careful. Inspections are important, and a lot of these people just want the house, so they're like, forget an inspection. And you think you can see it all, and you cannot see everything. Believe me, I'd love if it was that easy and tell my people, don't get an inspection, you'll get the house. But when I tell them that, I'm like, you're taking the biggest risk of your life, like get an inspection.
That's what's gonna happen. I think over Christmas we had so many things going wrong, like 2 toilet.
Did you guys do an inspection? I can't remember. I think you would have. I don't see Ron not doing an inspection unless we had somebody smart come through. No, I'm at your house.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
already had an inspection done prior because he's like one of those like overly prepared people, and he had it like sitting out on the countertop like.
Okay. Yep. That's true.
But there was something that was found so we did have an inspection because the guy was a talker and he wouldn't stop talking, and they found asbestos tiles, and they would have never known that except the prior owner told them, and then they had to fix it.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta keep your mouth shut and go with the flow.
Yeah. Actually, right now I have a deal going on, and the buyer agent, love him, but he signed an addendum that said we'll take care of all FHA repairs. And God bless his soul. And it's turned into a little bit of a nightmare, but since he sent that form in, like, it's been now the gas stove, then it turned out to some other like mildew, which isn't the same as mold. It wasn't that serious, but quite a bit of tedious things. So yeah, that's also a fine line as a realtor. We can only do so much. Sometimes you get yourself in a bind trying to help too much and in trouble. So, but the appraiser called and said, that he's called her like 10 times and she's okay with it. She was the nicest appraiser. They have this, I guess, reputation to be like old and crabby. In my opinion, that's kind of the reputation I gave him over the years, but it's not true. She was the sweetest. She was like, even if he doesn't pass tomorrow, I'm going to make sure I don't fail it because it's a charge to a buyer every time it's for an FHA loan. So every time it's got to get reappraised, they got to keep coming back and charge them. So she was like, I was like, can you appraise all the deals I work with? Because you're awesome. Some of them are not nice. I don't know.